Yeah, it's good to see you.
Welcome back to the Channel Insights podcast, where we talk a lot about. So it's fantastic to see you. I think last time we spoke was when we both worked for Adobe.
Yes, that's right. It's been a few years, Dinara. It's great to see you, and thank you for having me on your podcast.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. So, Balaji, tell me a little bit about your current role and where you work. What does your company offer in terms of services, and what are your key priorities for this year?
Yeah, no, thank you for asking that question. I am with a company called ChannelScaler, and we are a company that has a platform that provides services to customers who are launching their partner program, modernizing their partner program, enhancing their partner program. And what we offer is basically the PAR tech, as it's called these days, the partner technology. So we offer a PRM, of course, and a partner portal for partners to come in and use, as well as other modules. And this is what we find that our customers do is they land and expand with us. So they might start with the deal registration module, and then they go on to get a MDF module. They might go and get an incentives module. They might get a partner journey automation module, a business planning module, things like that. So they're able to build their partner program with us supporting them in a land and expand manner. That's typically where we see a lot of success. And our customers typically are enterprise customers, large enterprise customers who have really complex, messy systems and workflows and processes and things like that, as well as mid-market customers who are just launching and are got to a point where they need really good technology to continue to scale and grow.
Fantastic. I think it's quite composable as well in terms of pick and choose what's important in terms of the strategies. A lot of people and companies I speak to at the moment are actually refreshing and revising their partner programs. So, could you maybe elaborate a little bit more on what separates top 1% partner programs from everyone else? What should they focus on?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And by the way, I'm the chief partner officer for ChannelScaler. Prior to this, I was sort of on the other side where I was actually a customer of this type of technology and things like that. And I think, to answer your question around what makes a partner program top 1%, I think you mentioned. I
Yeah,
would
top
say
one.
that ease of doing business is so, so important. Just think about it, right? Every partner that you have is working with your competitors, most probably, is working with eight, nine other vendors, and they're getting a lot of communication, a lot of things thrown at them from eight different vendors. And so if you want them to get up every morning thinking about you, uh, ease of doing business is super important. So get rid of that friction that you have from an onboarding standpoint or enablement standpoint or usage standpoint. That's probably the most important thing as well. I'll add another thing, which is data. I think data capturing and usage of data, I think is super important. And the better you can use it with your partners and share it with them as well, the better stickiness that you create, right?
Yeah.
Because now you're driven by data, just sort of, PowerPoint slides or talking or this or that. So data driven decisions, ease of doing business are probably two key things I think that separate programs from others.
Great point. I think the hygiene of data is so important, especially if you define different partner journeys and segmentation.
Right.
So you just mentioned that you used to be on the customer side before. So how does it feel, and what is different now being on this side of technology?
It's a little different, but at the same time, not different. And what I mean by that is that the personas that we interact with and we sell to are all people that are like me, right? They're a chief partner officer, they're a partners and alliances, they're a VP of partner operations, partner marketing people as well. So Those people I understand really well because, I've lived their lives on the other side and I'm living their life here at my company as well. So it's easy for me to talk to them because I immediately get sort of where they are, right? When they explain to me, like, this is where I am, this is where I want to go, this is my
Yeah.
issues, these are my obstacles, etc. So in that sense, that's one of the reasons, frankly, that I joined this company because I could help be much more of an evangelist as well and talk to our customers who are the personas I understand really well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's actually so helpful for you, to speak the same language with them. Even though
Right.
I believe customers are quite fussy now, because, by the time you start speaking to them, they have already learned so much about your
Oh,
company. Probably
yes.
they know your product so well. I
Yep.
mean, how do you help customers navigate through this even complexity of choosing the right vendor for them? You mentioned, the PRM, as your core product. So,
Right.
and there are so many competitors, I can imagine. So how, it's a twofold question, but yeah, if you could maybe shed
Sure.
some light.
Yeah. No, you're right. In this day and age, a lot of people, most companies have done their research and have come to somewhat of a conclusion almost as to which direction that they're going through. I've learned this over the years and I always tell my team as well is like provide prospects, customers, data and things that they would actually pay money for, right? In other
Mhm.
words, give them such valuable information that they can make it easier. We make it easier for them to make a decision that is data driven to some extent and as well as illuminating. And what I mean by that, providing them insights on many things around their job, their role, the obstacles that they face that could help them become a hero. So one of the things that you'll hear me as well say is that how do we make channel chiefs heroes within their companies, right? How do we
Yeah.
make partner operations people heroes in their companies? Because they face a struggle in terms of being in a company that wants to be partner centric, but doesn't really understand what that means. Competing priorities, etc., competing budgeting processes, etc. So how do we help our customers and our prospects go through that? And the best way to is provide insights on the industry, provide insights on what's happening around us from what we've heard from other customers,
Mhm.
obviously providing reference stories as, in the same industry, we sold to these five other customers and this is their success that they've had from an ROI standpoint or a partner engagement standpoint, or obviously the best thing is customer outcome standpoint. So helping them in their role and making them heroes, I think really creates that trust and loyalty, a much better process in the end.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. Customers do need guidance. You may think they know, right? But you as a vendor may have a bigger picture here. Do you actually employ any AI workflows? Perhaps, our Channel Insight podcast talks a lot about the AI functionalities. Do you use any of this in your technology stack?
We do, yes, absolutely. And it's obviously it's imperative, right, that we're able to do things cheaper, faster, and better. And our one of our key objectives, of course, is to automate many things for our customers who are launching a partner program or modernizing it, and helping them doing things cheaper, faster, and better. So using AI has helped us. I'll give you maybe two examples, right? So you can think of a typical deal registration process of how
Mm-hmm.
a partner comes in, registers a deal, it goes through many approvals, it has to be classified, it has to be integrated into your CRM system, it has to be customer, the partner, and things like that. And so that process of being able to getting those approvals done quicker, faster, and with almost no touch, that's something that we really have implemented as well, and make implementing more and more capabilities around that. So it becomes even more thoughtful in terms of then understanding other things. So if a partner is registering a deal and they've registered this type of industry kind of deals before,
Mm-hmm.
then what we're also trying to create is insights into that, saying, hey, this is how they're going to build up their pipeline based upon history and what we're forecasting them to be able to do, so that channel chief can understand, wow, I have these types of partners, and if I'm going to forecast their business, it allows me to use all this data from deal registration to be able to forecast much better as well. Another example is maybe something you're familiar with as well, is our MDF process, right? Of how
Yes.
that is so complex at times of,
And
being able
clunky
to
in many companies, yeah.
exactly, right?
Tell me about
Asking
it.
for, yeah. And, that whole back and forth of asking for something, getting approvals, getting paid for it, showing ROI, all of that stuff, we've actually embedded AI in there to be able to make that a cheaper, faster, quicker process to make both sides much more productive and not have to worry about a lot of the administrative stuff and things like that. Even there, you can also put in forecasting capabilities of saying, what's the ROI, right, that we're going to get out of these kinds of things based upon history as well. So those are two good examples I can give you. Sorry, I'll give you another one. Lead distribution is another one. Provide leads to your partners, right? What is it based
Yes.
on? And again, we can use AI to distribute leads based upon region, obviously by geo, but also by industry, by competencies, by skills, past history of winning deals, etc. So this partner is probably the best fit for this type of lead based upon that. Boom, it just goes. So no manual kind of intervention as well. So those are three good examples, I think, for you.
No, they're really great examples, and I think they're so important because, again, a lot of partners have difficulties, establishing the correct processes, and they underestimate that if you have a great process in place, the right one, then it's half battle won.
Exactly.
Also, you just mentioned about leads. Is AI able to qualify a lead? And what is a lead? Inquiry through the website, or can we perhaps train AI to pre-qualify this for us?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll give you sort of a two-part answer on that. Any inbound lead coming into your website, for example, who's coming in to ask for more information, things like that, absolutely AI can be used to score it, to be able to either keep it, nurture it, send it to one of the salespeople or inside salespeople, or not do anything with it and just maybe even send a polite email back saying, you are not the right ICP fit for us. I won't say it that
Mhm.
way in those words, but respectfully saying probably better for us to help you with some of these kinds of things that you want to be able to do in a different way rather than putting that into our pipeline or into our discovery process and all that. So definitely AI could help us do that. And we're already doing that, by the way, from an inbound standpoint. The other thing, though, I'll go back to is when you ask a question about what is a lead, right? And so for us, if you think about it from a partner standpoint, for any enterprise out there, usually my experience, what I've learned over the years is a partner lead is pretty high quality, much more high quality than just a simple inbound lead coming in. And so those leads coming in that are being registered by partners, I have two or three categories that we ask them to go through. Is it sourced? Is it going to be led by you? Or is it just an influence deal? And those three sort of categories then help us then sort of get more productive in engaging with the partner at that time. That helps quite a bit. And then getting it into a discovery phase and then moving along into our sales cycle makes it much more easier if you understand those kinds of motions as well from that standpoint. The other thing I'll give you another example on that is that we are now becoming much, much, much more diligent about what is our ICP fit and is this an ICP fit? So when that opportunity is, let's say, registered by a partner, we can bounce it off of our tier one accounts, tier two accounts, tier three accounts to see what type of fit it is from an ICP standpoint and score it immediately almost. And then actually have it go through the sales cycle makes it much better for the partner, makes it much better for us as well. So again, those are the kinds of things that AI can also help us on too.
Fantastic. And it gives great visibility to all the channel chiefs, going back to the heroes and how they also benefit from investing
Right.
into the right system and technology. That's really
Exactly.
great.
Yeah.
Balaji, I want to be cheeky and ask you a question which I was asked recently during a job interview because I'm in the process of looking for my next job opportunity. And
Okay.
they, and they asked me about Please tell me, what are the early signs of a disengaged partner, and what are these perhaps metrics you should look into? I'm just curious because you've got tons of channel experience.
Yeah, that's a great question, by the way, and it's something I've warned my teams before as well, because I learned this the hard way as well, is that, you know, partners who don't want to work with you going forward, a lot of times, most times, they don't even tell you. And so you don't understand or realize that they're not engaged with you and they don't want to work with you anymore till much later on. And so I think some of the metrics that you put in place are important to give you at least some sign of indication that, this engagement isn't quite right. So I always call it a partner engagement kind of score, right? In terms of, are they participating in your training? Do they come to your webinars? Are
Yeah,
they downloading assets? Are they obviously registering any deals? Are they doing any type of co-marketing activity with you? Are they using your platform? Basically, stuff like that. I think those are a lot of things that sometimes we don't measure really in a true manner, right? We just kind of ad hoc kind of measure it and think about it. But I think
exactly.
those are true measurements that you need to put in place in a dashboard for every one of your, at least your key strategic partners, just to make sure, are they engaged or not, right? And then of course the other things are, once you register a deal, are they helping accelerate it? Are they closing it with you? And it's better to, this is something also I've learned also, is that these kinds of things, this engagement score is almost better a lot of times than volume scores. And what I mean by volume scores is like, oh, how many partners do I have? How many deals are they registering? How many, all the numbers, right? The volume. And sometimes really the engagement depth, I'll call it, that partner
Yeah.
engagement depth is a lot better indicator of the health of your ecosystem and your partnerships rather than just the volume. So that's something else that I've learned over the years as well.
Great answer. Yeah. You're hired, Balaji. Fantastic. No, thank you so much. Yeah, I had a
Yeah.
similar reply, but it's a good question. Agree. As we're wrapping up our discussion now, I'd like to ask you maybe something from your personal interests. What books you're reading at the moment, or what are your personal goals for this year? Something interesting you can share with the audience.
That's great. I'm glad you asked me about reading. I used to read a lot when I was younger, and I loved reading. I still love reading, but finding that time and that discipline of making time for it has always been hard. So my goals over the last, probably started with COVID, over the last 3 4 years, was to read at least one book a month, 12 books a year,
Oh, that's good.
and I haven't hit that goal. But last year, at least I hit about six books, and the one that I'm reading right now, maybe I can share with you. I really have been enjoying it, so I can't wait every day at the end of the day to read it, at least one or two chapters. It's called The Paris Library. And I like, reading fiction. And I also like reading fiction that has some sort of historical elements around it. So this story basically is when in Paris, it's an American library that was actually in Paris and still is. And World War II starts, right? And so the whole story is centered right before World War II and then during the war and right after it as well. So it's a really nice, well-written book that I would recommend to people if they're looking for something like that from that standpoint. On a personal standpoint as well, besides reading, I'm an avid road cyclist. So I ride, my bike thousands of miles a year, and I've also added hiking also over the last few years. So I've hiked Mount Kilimanjaro. I've gone to
Wow.
Patagonia, and this year maybe Mount Fuji, I'm thinking, and things like that. So yeah, that's what keeps me sort of healthy and productive outside of work, so I can be productive at work as well. So
Fantastic. Great hobbies. Thank you so much, Balaji, for
thank you.
your time, for great insights, and for being on the channel podcast. It was an absolute pleasure to host you today.
Absolutely, thank you, Dinara, and as always, it's great to see you. So thank you, I appreciate that. Bye bye.